Welcome everyone to another edition of Diecast Emporium. In today's video, we're going to be doing an in-depth unboxing and review of the new for 2023 Diecast Masters Highline Series 150th scale Caterpillar 315 excavator in a special black finish. Item number 85957 is the same as the Cat Black and Yellow version of this model, with the addition of BK for Black. If you have not seen my review of the standard version of this model released earlier this year, go ahead and take a look at your screen right about here. There will be a suggested link. I will also post that same link at the end of the video so you can kind of compare and contrast the two. Back to the black version. Because it's part of the Highline series, it does come in the white outer shipping box, which protects our metal tin. Let's go ahead and take the tin out. As always, the tin is protected by the nylon white bag. Removing that gives us our first look at the metal tin. Yep, passes the metal test. It's metal. 150th scale, ages 14 and up. New for this year, this QR code that you can scan with your phone or tablet or other smart device, and it'll pull up a virtual edition of the catalog. I really like that, and I've said that in some of the other videos too, because obviously we're all trying to be a little bit more eco-friendly, and if we can cut down on paper, that's important. But the box itself is really impressive. You have kind of that smoke finish along with the black paint. Really looks good, and you're going to notice that kind of in this video. Despite my best efforts, it is really hard to pick up a lot of the detail because everything on the machine essentially is black. But I digress. We move on. Here is the top of the tin showing some of the opening features of the model. I'll go into that in much more detail momentarily. Black Onyx, bottom left. So this is part of the Black Onyx or commemorative finish models. We have seen graders before. We've seen backhoes before. I think the most recent one, if I'm not mistaken, was the track-type tractor or the bulldozer. I believe it was a D6. So we are quite rapidly growing a black line of vehicles. On the back of the tin, here's another photo of the model as well as operational information and dimensions of the real machine. So if you want to read all about that, go ahead and pause the video. For the rest of us, we're going to pop a top and see what awaits us inside. First thing is an instructional sheet. This tells you how to correctly place the operator figure in the cab if you want to do that. Again, I will show you that here in just a bit. Next, we have the black piece of foam rubber on the top with two holes. Those are your finger holes. Stick your finger in the finger holes. Carefully lift that up. Finally, looking down, we can see our model inside, but we also have a couple other accessories, including the black plastic tweezers. This helps you put the figure in the cab. You really don't need it, but it's a nice inclusion nonetheless. A black pointer tool, which is very helpful in getting some of the maintenance panels open. Our operator figure, affectionately known as Bob. And last, but certainly not least, we have our 315 excavator. Protecting the tracks are a couple of plastic pieces, so be sure to remove that. Once you've done that, the model is free from the tin. Okay, first things first. If you want to put the operator figure inside the cab, remove the top piece. Drop your operator figure into position where he will remain for the next several decades at least. Then place your black top of the cab back on, and it should snap into place. Now, let's take a look at some of the details and decals. Again, please bear in mind and have some patience that because of the high-quality black finish that's on this model, it is going to be hard to get everything on camera, but we're going to work with what we have. All the modern hex logos, whether they be on the boom, on the cab windows, or even on the machine themselves, are really sharp, and I guess it's just me. I hope it's not just me, but they seem to pop a whole lot better on an all-black machine than they would on a standard Cat Black and Yellow. Here's a really good example of the Cat Modern Hex logo on the counterweight. Here's another Modern Hex on the right side of the machine. And it is a little bit hard to see, so we'll kind of zoom in a little bit here. There's also a 315 decal. That looks quite good. Zooming back out, another Cat logo, warning labels. There's several warning labels all throughout the model, and again, because the model is black, not to beat a horse to death here, but you can tell the graphics are just that much better. There is a rubber hydraulic line going from the boom to the stick. The bucket is removable. I will show you that as we go along. The tracks themselves are very nicely detailed. They are spring-loaded, and we also have a front dozer blade here. In the real world, this really isn't used that much for dozing. It actually adds as a, it acts as a stabilizer support, rather. So you put this down when you're digging, help stabilize the machine. Moving back along to where we started, we can see inside the operator's cab, you have a gray seat with the CAT logo, some joysticks, levers as well. The hinges for the opening panels on the back of the machine, they are black, which means they're much more discreet than they normally would be. So I really got to give Diecast Masters props for that. It looks quite good. Now, looking from the top down as we wrap up the details, you have another opening hatch here, which I will show you. Some anti-slip texturing here as well. Your handrails are all metal on this model. They are thin and to scale and metal, which again is yet another plus for this model. All right, let's pause momentarily. When we come back, we'll put the machine through its paces, and I'll show you some of its functionality. Welcome back, everyone. We freed our operator figure, if only momentarily, to show you the inside of the cab of the machine. You can make out the details, you can make out the seat and the controls in the bottom. Also, we have an opening door, which if you're careful and you use the pointer, you can open to a relatively decent angle. It is probably a little bit shallow when scaled out to what the real machine can achieve, but you can see it here. And also, it closes up nice and tight. Now, while we're on the subject of opening doors and panels, let's take a look at the opening engine hatch on top of the machine, which just peels forward. You can see it sticking up right there. And you can see a little bit of motor detail, but again, because everything is black, it's kind of hard to see, but it is there. This is where your pointer tool really comes into its own. You can see the opening panel on the back, and hopefully if the light catches that just right, you might get a glimpse of some of the black plastic pieces that are inside. While we have it, let's open up the other end as well. And you have some more details on this side. And again, this side, the right side, opens up to a much greater angle than the left side of the machine. All right, those are the opening panels and doors. Let's now focus on the machine's functionality. The tracks will roll really well on a surface with friction in either direction. You can raise or lower the blade if you want to. As with any excavator, you can rotate it 360 degrees. Focusing in now on the main functionality of the boomstick and bucket. This is as high as it will go. We'll take our stick out to as far as it will go. Our bucket curls out to a pretty decent angle, as well as curls in. If you wanted to park the machine and display it in a parked mode, there's one. If you wanted it on a lowboy trailer, another advantage of this model is that it tucks up nice and tight for display on a lowboy trailer, which again, I will show you that here momentarily as well. That's the main parts of the functionality. Again, if you wanted to display it digging, the digging depth is excellent as well. And almost all of the cylinders are completely collapsed into the jacket. So again, high marks there. All right, let's see what this looks like on a lowboy and paired with a dump truck. All right, first things first, we got to get our machine to the job site or the display cabinet. So we bring in our handy-dandy lowboy trailer with a Western Star tractor, both available from Diecast Masters. And you can see that even a small machine like this, which could fit on a tag-along trailer, actually does make a pretty convincing larger lowboy load. The other display possibility for a model such as an excavator is to pose it loading a dump truck. So let's bring in Old Faithful, our Core Classic Series Cat CT660, the original, not the one with the ox body dump. And once again, we have a pretty convincing display with just the use of two models. All right, that'll bring this episode of Diecast Emporium to a close. In summation, the new for 2023 Diecast Masters Cat 315 excavator in 1/50th scale in the special Black Onyx finish really is a very sharp and good-looking model. Its wide array of opening panels, bucket that goes up and down, and again, taking the bucket off, which if you want to see what that looks like real quick, we'll do that. Boom, bucket is off. This really does make a great looking model, whether it's digging or on a lowboy. And again, I believe it is priced affordably and will look great when it's paired next to its yellow and black brother. All right, all. Thanks again for watching. Take a look at your screen right now to see other Diecast Emporium reviews on Diecast Masters' recent releases. And until next time, take care, be well. I'll see you in the next review.